Hi, this is Michael Carlin, president of Henry & Horn Wealth Management with your Manage the Funds podcast. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about something that I wish that I had known, certainly a lot earlier in my business career. It even has, obviously, relational aspects to it, too. There's one of the most damaging things that you can do in the workplace. Do you know what it is? Like, you're probably thinking, I don't know, screaming at somebody, which is obviously not good, or certainly don't want to push someone down the stairs. There's a lot of bad things that you could do in the workplace, but one of the most damaging, by far, I'm convinced, is having expectations. That's not what I thought you were going to say. And I'm going to help break this down, because if you haven't heard of how dangerous it is to have expectations of people in the workplace, you're going to learn something over the next few minutes. When you're in the office, you can either, relate to people by having expectations of their behavior or their work performance, or you can have agreements. There's a choice. If you have expectations of someone, expect those expectations to create anxiety. As I mentioned, it's damaging to relationship, and it creates fear in others. So when you have expectations of someone, it's so easy to be disappointed. I mean, think about it. If you have an expectation of someone, they can either fail to meet that expectation, or what's the good thing? The good outcome is that they meet your expectation, and then what? Nothing. That's what I thought you were going to do. I expected when I gave you this assignment, you were going to do it quickly, and I expected you to do it really well. So what's the benefit? What's the win? Nothing. I see clients that have employees in work environments, and in some of those offices, they have lower morale than I'd like to see. And in cases where you can start to see the production level drop within their workforce. And I talk with clients all the time about their business, and because we're not just about managing money, we're about helping clients holistically. I mean, your business is creating income and net worth for your family, so we're engaged in that. When I talk to clients about improving their culture, we talk about how to improve the outcomes at work. And when I talk to clients in depth about what's going on, they'll say things like, my employees, they're not doing enough. My employees they're not getting things done, and my employees are missing deadlines. They'll say that to me. They'll say that my employee's not being creative enough. And they're saying, well, my employee, they're not doing enough things to push things in the organization forward. Those, I'm telling you, you hear these things over and over and over again. And I'll admit it, before I really understood expectations, I was one of those people too. But now I know better. So then I'll ask the client something, and it really changes the conversation. I'll say, oh, got it. So what agreements did you have about those deadlines? They'll look at me and say, well, what agreements were in place for them to strive and to do more? What kind of things are you agreeing to? Because this frustration that I see in you, and I hear it, your aggravation. It's clear that there are expectations that aren't being met, and it's breaking down the relationship within the organization, and it's not creating a real healthy environment either. And the same can be said about employees. Employees, they can miss a deadline because they don't have enough support to get things done, and you're missing an opportunity to potentially forge an agreement, to come together, to listen to one another and to develop a path forward, a better path forward to accomplish what you want to accomplish. If you're the business owner, you know what you want to see. If you're the manager, you know what you need to see from your employees. If you're the employee, you're given a bunch of stuff to get done. It doesn't matter who you are in the business cycle within your company. You know when there are expectations. It's daunting. Because am I even meeting my expectations? Am I doing well? I don't know. You can change all that when you have an agreement. I'll tell about some of the things in my own office. So prior to understanding this, expectations, challenge, I would expect, and we had this, we had discussion generally. I'd say, listen, after you're meeting with clients, I expect, an email to go out the same day. And certainly no later than the day following. And when it doesn't happen, I get frustrated. Why didn't you get that email out? I don't understand. What part of I expect you to get this done didn't you get done? Instead, what if we had an agreement? What if the agreement was, hey, we just met with Mr. Jones. What do you need to get an email out to wrap things up over the next day or so? Say, well, actually, I've got to do a bunch of research and I need your help on a couple of different items. And because I have got meetings the rest of the day, it probably won't be till the end of the day tomorrow where I can get that out. Oh, all right. Well, got it. So what kind of information do you need from me? And then we have an exchange where they explain to me, this is what they need from me in order to get what I want done for the client. And we create an agreement. Got it. So now I know what you need from me. You know what I want from you. And we're agreeing that's going to be done. Close of business tomorrow. Sound good? Good. Now we've got something. It allows my employee an opportunity to share with what they need to succeed. They feel heard and understood. I've now created a bond where when something is done with an agreement, everyone can feel good about it. It's no longer an expectation. I used to walk around annoyed because I would say, I expect everyone here to be writing an article one a month. And then it wouldn't happen. No agreement. No agreement. Agreements are more powerful. Think of it as a verbal contract. As human beings, we don't want to let someone else down. We don't want to. If you're in a work environment, you don't want to let anyone else down. Especially if it's your boss, you don't want to let them down. If it's your employees, you want to lift them up. An agreement allows you to set the stage so that you can make that relationship work at its highest order. Again, people like keeping their agreements, knowing the upfront challenges. Negotiating and figuring out the agreement is critical. What's fun is that not only does this agreement versus expectation thing work in work, if you think about it, it works at home too. You know people who have high expectations of others. For me, it was, for me, getting personal, it was definitely my mom. My mom had expectations of me and expectations of the mailman and expectations of when she go to the grocery store. Her whole life was expectations. And, if she were still here, she would freely admit that she was regularly disappointed, just regularly disappointed with everyone. You deal with people that, you go to a family get together and this will air around the holidays and you get together with family and you walk in, you've got expectations. Geez, that person didn't really seem too happy to meet me. Or I'm expecting this person to ask me how I'm doing or how I'm feeling, or if you're walking around with expectations. Everyone in the family's got expectations. Imagine having none. How freeing might that be? If you find yourself upset with people all the time and you're let down by people in the work and personal life, and if you feel like people are betraying you personally, you're likely a person that's living with this impossible world of expectations surrounding you. And if you come to agreements with your friends and your family members just about some basic ways that you want the relationship to work, people aren't going to want to let you down. Again, allows both sides to negotiate, to come to an understanding of some kind of common bond, and say, this is how we're going to get this done. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised at all the good things that can happen. Because I can tell you that as soon as I adopted that philosophy, it helped a lot with work. People weren't missing deadlines. Things were getting done. People that said they were going to strive to grow the business, we had now definable ways they were going to go do that. If they weren't meeting expectations, if the quality of their work wasn't meeting my expectations, I could create an agreement about how to increase and improve their quality of work. What do you need? This is what I need. This is what I can deliver. Great. We've got an agreement. If at that point you have someone that's letting you down with an agreement, you got a whole different situation in your hands. You got an employee or maybe even a partner that might not be a great fit. That's a whole different story, a whole different podcast. But at least, again, give agreements a shot. Think about expectations. See what you can do to reduce them. I was inspired to do this by a couple of different people, Chris Doris and Steve Chandler. Chris, who introduced me to the topic, and Steve, who's done a lot of work on it. So I encourage you to take a look at Steve Chandler's writings, and even he's got a nice little podcast that you can download, which goes and unpacks this in greater detail. So go ahead, give this a thought. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Take care. And have a great day. Material on this program is intended for general information only and should not be taken as specific investment, tax, or legal advice. None of the information contained in this broadcast is intended by the host to be a solicitation for sale of any security. Further information is available by contacting Henry & Horn Wealth Management. Securities offered through Independent Financial Group, member of FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Wealth Management LLC, DBA Henry & Horn Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Henry & Horn Wealth Management and IFG are separate and unrelated entities. Henry & Horn and Henry & Horn Wealth Management are separate entities, member of FINRA and SIPC.